CRN Digital Talk Radio. Chuck Wilder here with Paul Stern at the network. And we're live across America on this radio station or cable system and around the world at crntalk.com. The correct app, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Apple, so many ways to get us. Tomorrow's guest, Doug Kellogg, Communications Manager, National Taxpayers Union and Foundation. They've got a study. Are you ready for this? $233.8 billion, 6.1 billion hours lost to the rising tax complexity. Wow. Seton Motley, president of Less Government. Obama's got another objective. Nationalize California's government-made water disaster. Yep. And Jim Corey, member of the National Association Chiefs of Police, columnist for Examiner.com. We'll talk about the latest shooting, of course. And did you know that Obama's Iranian nuclear deal is a betrayal of Obama's own policy? Well, of course, that wouldn't surprise you. Hey, right now, let's go to Coach Dave Dobbenmeyer, founder and president of Pass the Salt Ministries and Minutemen United. He is host of the High Octane Pass the Salt radio show. And, boy, I got some good ones to talk about. Hey, Coach, how are you?
Chuck, I'm doing great. In fact, last time I talked to you, we were battling that cold weather out here. Today, the thunderstorms are rolling through here. My dogs jumped up on my lap, and it's a scary time here. But we're doing great, brother, and it's great to be on with you. My dog is scared of thunderstorms. My dog's scared of thunderstorms. That's why he got me pinned to the ground here.
Did you say the dog jumped up on your lap?
Yeah, my dog's scared of thunderstorms, so she got me pinned down here. But I'm okay, Chuck. I'll suffer through it with you.
Two things, all right? There was a group that advertised on my show very short time years ago, and they came out with a thunder jacket for dogs. And I don't know if you ever heard about it or not, but they work. Unbelievable.
Well, Daisy could sure use one because she thinks I'm her thunder jacket.
Oh, yeah, and I'm going to tell you that fireworks, on the 4th of July,
yeah.
Thunder, boy, pardon me, I just got all choked up here. But anyway, check into it, because they do work, and it's good for the pets.
Sounds great, Chuck. Thanks.
You being the world famous, pastor and all this good stuff, the dog, and when you spell it backwards, what do they always say?
Yeah, God, huh?
That's right. God is looking out for you.
That's right, brother. I'm a legend in my own mind, I guess, Chuck.
Hey, one other thing, speaking about the last time you and I got together, what about the pastor that was locked up in jail? We spent a whole show talking about that, gentleman.
Yeah.
Any new developments?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where we left off. Dr. Ken Hovind down in Pensacola, Florida, who has been in jail for 101 months now for a process called structuring. They've done a great job of trying to paint him as a tax protester, but that is not what he is. He's been in jail 101 months for a law to try to control money laundering by drug dealers. And so they just tried him again 4 weeks ago for mail fraud from jail. You can't make this stuff up, Chuck. And something never happens. He got a hung jury in federal court. If you go to federal court, about 97% win rate for the feds in federal court. So the fact that Kent fought him to a draw is really a testament. But they're going to run it by him again. They're going to try him again on May 18th.
May 18th.
So that's one of the things that I've been actively involved with, is trying to raise up an army in support of Kent and support of a lot of different things. People can go to the website Free Kent. That's with a T. Free Kent Hovind, Hovind. FreeKentHovind.com. Everything you need to know is right there. And Chuck, it's one of those stories when I tell people it's so bizarre they think I'm lying. I'm just telling you the truth, brother.
I know, yeah, because when we talked about it, it was
he's a political prisoner, and they want to put him away for 60 more years for mailing a letter. That's the truth.
I'll tell you. Wow. And you know what? And it's going to tie in about, people need to get behind these injustices. And you were talking about the Army a moment ago. Well, I got the latest here. The battle is raging. Where is our team? And, great minds think alike, Coach, because yesterday or the day before, I'm talking about how in the world, we were talking about the Indiana law and how so much hell is being raised about it, you know. Oh, you're discriminating against the gays, the gays, the gays, the gays. And I said, how is it that 2% of the population has so much control over all of our lives? And in your story, you say it's about 3%. Let's get on this, okay? And let's see if we can talk about and answer the question, where is our team? Go ahead,
Chuck,
take
we
it
know
away,
that
Coach.
from government statistics, recent, I don't know whether it was the census or whether it's Centers for Disease Control, they said that the strictly homosexual population is about 1.5%. 1.5. You throw in the bisexuals, the trans, all those other letters, you throw it in there, it's about 3%. So, Chuck, we're looking at a movement comprising of 3%. For instance, blacks make up about 13% of the population. Kind of puts it in perspective. 3% of the population is now in control of the government. They're in control of multinational corporations, Walmart, Angie's List, the NCAA basketball. They all came out in support of the gay movement. And not only that, Chuck, they have changed the entire biblical position of most of the religions in the Western world. When you put it in a perspective like that, and you begin to think about this, how could this possibly be happening? Well, it's happening because even though they're only 3%, they are an organized, committed 3%. And what recently just took place right there in Indianapolis, Indiana, where they just tried to put a religious liberty protection law back into place, which is basically the law of land in 20 states, saying that you don't have to do anything that violates your conscience. I mean, that's freedom of religion. That's what we all want. The homosexuals showed up in mass. They made Governor Mike Pence bow his knee. The state legislature went back and reconsidered. They changed the law, giving homosexuals an exemption. Chuck, how's this happening? How is this happening that 3% of the population are doing that? Well, it's very simple.
Let me tell you something, Coach. You talk about perfect timing. I got a story, and I said, boy, wait until you may know it already, but anyway, here it is, all right? Only 6 of 54 Republican members of the Senate signed a pro-traditional marriage legal brief to the U.S. Supreme Court. It was submitted last Friday, all right? This is in USA Today. 6 of 54 Republicans signed the pro-traditional marriage. Now then, by contrast, before you jump up and down on the Republicans, 44 Democratic senators and 167 Democratic House members filed the brief last month, urging the court to approve same-sex marriage. Now, there's part of the problem. The leaders of the country, so to speak, the people that are doing our business. That's why we elect them, isn't it? To do our business. Chuck.
But here's what's going on with that. See, they stuck their finger up in the air, Republicans in particular. They know the Supreme Court decision is coming down, and they're going to hear it here in a couple of weeks, and the decision will be rendered in July. The finger's up in the air. They know which way the Supreme Court's going to rule. So they say, well, we can't really prevent this anyway. I don't want to sign on that because 2 years from now I don't have to defend it in the next election. That's what's going on there, Chuck. Truth be told, there are at least 2 of those Supreme Court justices who should recuse themselves. Both Elena Kagan and Ruth Bader Ginsburg have, within the last year, performed homosexual marriages. Now, how they can hear the case and give an unbiased position on it, Chuck, you know, they should recuse themselves because the purpose of recusal is to avoid the very appearance of impropriety or bias. So they should recuse themselves just so they could say, you know, this doesn't look good, but they're not going to do it. And so what we're going to see happen probably is we're going to see gay marriage. We're going to see homosexual marriage legalized by judicial fiat, except for, praise God, for Judge Roy Moore and the Alabama Supreme Court. We're down there. They voted 81% to 19 the marriages between one man and one woman. And Judge Roy Moore in the Alabama Supreme Court ordered the courts, the justices of the peace in the state of Alabama, to not issue same-sex marriages because it's a violation of the law of Alabama. And so a big battle's coming, Chuck, because the Supreme Court's going to try to force homosexual marriage on Montgomery, Alabama. I call it the Gettysburg of gay marriage is going to break loose in Montgomery, Alabama in July.
Well, I'll tell you, though, you can knock the Republicans, but the Democrats overwhelmingly supporting it. So there you go.
Hey, Chuck, I don't care if everybody in America supports it. God says no on it. He has the veto power. He said that's not marriage. This institution of marriage is the foundation of all of Western civilization. One man, one woman for life, a family, the family unit. And we know the family unit's in disarray. A lot of reasons why that's true. But when you get something when you get your pipes are leaking at home, you don't go get a drill and drill more holes in the pipes.
Right.
And that's what we're doing. We're saying marriage doesn't really mean anything anymore. You Christians, you heterosexuals, you've screwed the whole thing up. Well, let us jump in the mess, and we'll really make this thing destructive. And that's really where the battle lies. And Chuck, I'm not making this light of this. This is a crucial moment in Western civilization.
And the churches, you say, are not doing their part.
Nope. Many of them are gathering together, marrying homosexuals. That's what I'm saying, Chuck. 3% of the population, and it's probably not even 3% because most people don't get involved anyway, right? So maybe it's 0.5% of people who are actually fighting. They are changing, Chuck. Listen, folks, a small minority, 3% of America, is forcing the Christian church to change their policy regarding clear biblical policy. That's what, Chuck, how can you explain that? For 2,000 years, marriage was between a man and a woman, and we see today Christian churches capitulating all across America. It's being done by 3%. It's one of the most demonic things that I've seen happen in my lifetime.
Well, you have the answer, okay? Absolutely the answer. Because Coach says, for the love of all things religious, how can Christian men and women yield God's foundational institution of marriage in the name of love and tolerance? You want the answer? He says the answer is really quite simple. They are organized and they show up. 3%, that's all it takes. Wow.
Not even that. See, Chuck, when the decision came down in Indianapolis, there should have been 10,000 Christians out on the steps of the State House, cheering Mike Pence on, cheering the legislature on for doing what was right. But they're not organized.
You say they're in the comfort of their security, the comfort and security of their living rooms. They're on the sidelines. And that's why, the article you did before, the first 1 to 30 wins, we're going to get to that one a little bit later on, and that really gets into coaching.
They go together, don't they? These two articles really go together.
They do. Yep. Now, we're getting ready to go into a break, and I want to remind the listener that, in case you didn't hear it, 1999, Coach Dobbenmeyer, he was sued by the ACLU. 1999. You know why? Because he was praying with his teams while coaching high school in Ohio. Wow. We're going to take a break. We got lots more to go on this. Coach Dave Dobbenmeyer, newswithviews.com, and also newswithviews.tv. You can see him in action at newswithviewstv.tv. We'll be right back.
Are cute. Squirrels, too, till they ruin your garden, feasting on your plants. Get yourself some Ortho Animal Be Gone. Animal Be Gone uses ingredients that little critters are naturally repelled by, but it won't hurt them. And the no-sting formula works without smelling horrible. Animal Be Gone from Ortho. We don't hurt them. We just chase them. Guaranteed. Learn more about how Animal Be Gone lives up to its name at Ortho.com. Use only as directed.
I'm Jay Farner with some great news on how you could save an average of $3,000 per year on your mortgage. Call Quicken Loans now at 800-QUICKEN to see if you qualify for the government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. The HARP guidelines have changed. There's less paperwork and often no appraisal required. Call 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN, or visit QuickenLoans.com.
Important terms and conditions apply. Call us for cost information. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
We are perfectionists. We do it right and don't stop until the job is done. We build commercial zero-turn mowers with maneuverability, power, and comfort. Who are we? We are Kubota. Now, during our More Power to You sales event, you can get long-term financing as low as 0% APR on new commercial-grade Z700 series mowers. For more information or to find a participating dealer, visit Kubota.com.
Have you ever considered adding a home security system but thought it would be too expensive? Here's the good news. There's never been a more affordable time to help protect your home, valuables, and your loved ones. You can now get a $100 Visa card from Protect Your Home, your authorized ADT dealer, with the installation of a new ADT monitored system. Here's even better news. Your new system, worth $850, is free. You pay just a $99 installation charge and purchase monthly monitoring for less than $2 a day. Call Protect Your Home today at 1-866-669-8954. That's 1-866-669-8954. Get the peace of mind that comes with owning an ADT monitored system, plus a $100 Visa card from Protect Your Home. Call now, 1-866-669-8954. That's 1-866-669-8954. 36-month monitoring contract required. General terms and conditions apply. Visit protectyourhome.com/terms.
Here on CRN, we'd like to keep you updated on what's happening in wine throughout the state of California. Napa, Sonoma, the Pacific Coast has great regions like the Central Coast area, Paso Robles, Santa Barbara, Temecula. Join our very own Larry Van Alst as he takes a look at what's cooking on wine, the Sonoma Report. It comes your way Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. right here on CRN. Winemakers, superstars, wine growers, and more. With Larry Van Alst, what's cooking on wine, the Sonoma Report.
Everybody's talking at me.
My guest is Coach Dave Daubenmire, founder and president of Pass the Salt Ministries. That's ptsalt.com, ptsalt.com. Minuteman United, that's minutemanunited.org. And you can get all his articles at newswithviews.com. And going to give you an email address, I know, a little bit later on, because that ties in with what we are discussing today. And here's the question for you, Coach. What about these people that say, well, I'm going to cling to the fact I don't want to upset anybody, and I don't want to get involved, and I'm just hoping, I'm a true believer, and I'm just hoping that God is going to send somebody to rescue us, all right? He'll send somebody down here to take care of us in our bad need and what's going on. What's your answer to that one?
Wow, Chuck, what if that's me and you? What if the Lord's already sent that person? What if that person's sitting in the pew beside you? What if you look in the mirror and it's you? That you're the one who is sent to bring deliverance to those around you. Now, Chuck, I'm not talking about spiritual salvation. Christ died on the cross. The blood of Jesus is the propitiation. It pays the ultimate price. But, Chuck, it's people like me and you and the guy sitting beside you in church who are mandated by the Lord to take that gospel, that message to all the world. That's what we are supposed to do as Christians. It's a multiplication process. It is the world's largest multi-level marketing. Each one, reach one. And so we've fallen into a real selfish Christianity. The idea that God's going to rescue us out of here. I don't argue theology, Chuck. I'm not a theologian. But the idea that God is going to rescue us out of here, it's like sitting here, I'm looking out my window here, I'm looking kind of through my neighborhood. We live out in the country a little bit, but I can see my neighbors. What if I look all of a sudden and some guy across the street is robbing my neighbor's house and I see it? And I think, oh, man, I hope they don't come over here. And they go down and they start robbing from my other neighbor. Oh, man, I hope they're not home. I hope they don't steal everything they have. Oh, boy, I hope somebody comes and keeps them from coming to my house. Well, what a stupid attitude that is. If I see them robbing my neighbors, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to stop them. That's what Christianity is, brother, the protection of the innocent. We are called to lay down our lives that others might live. And instead we have this selfish Christianity. I'm going to sit here in my house. I'm going to hide from everything bad outside of here, and I'm going to pray that the Lord does something about it because, by the way, He's in control of everything. Really? What if you're the answer? What if I'm the answer?
And absolutely. And you say, oh, they're robbing that house, but they're not robbing mine. They're robbing this house, but they're not robbing mine.
House for me.
Well, let me tell you something. There was another famous pastor that said, first they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Mm-hmm. Then they came for the trade unionists. I didn't speak out because I was not a trade unionist.
Amen,
then
brother.
They came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. And I tell you, you mentioned a couple times in these last two articles about, we not only need to look out for ourselves and right now, today, and tomorrow, and next week, we got to look out for the future, and especially the future of the next generation, our kids, our relatives, our grandchildren. And I remember when I first got into talk radio, Coach, it was always, hey, we got to be very concerned about, this immigration problem and this invasion of this country, and it's not us. We're gonna suffer a little bit, but boy, whenever it builds up, and look what it's done now, who's going to suffer. Where all the money's going to be going and who they're going to be taking care of.
Chuck, I wrote in a commentary today, what granddaddy doesn't fight for his grandkids? And that's the way that I view this whole thing. It's not about my personal salvation. If I drop over dead of a heart attack this afternoon, I'm on my way to heaven, brother. I'm okay. But my goodness, what has my life been about if I leave to my children this mess? You talk about a granddaddy having it upside down, say, well, Lord, as long as there's peace in my day, I'll let my grandkids fend for themselves. Aren't you glad our forefathers didn't have that opinion, Chuck, that we live in the greatest, safest, most free country the world has ever seen, and it's being destroyed? Our children and grandchildren are not going to live in a society like that, and granddaddies all across America won't raise a finger to do anything about it.
They stood up, Coach. They stood up in World War II. And it's time to stand up again. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with Coach Dave Daubenmire and maybe talk about these two grandbabies that you mentioned that are on the way. Yeah, Coach Dave Daubenmire, founder and president of Pass the Salt Ministries, ptsalt.com. Don't go away. Be right back.
We are perfectionists. We do it right and don't stop until the job is done. We build commercial zero-turn mowers with maneuverability, power, and comfort. Who are we? We are Kubota. Now, during our More Power to You sales event, you can get long-term financing as low as 0% APR on new commercial-grade Z700 series mowers. For more information or to find a participating dealer, visit Kubota.com.
What are our pets trying to tell us? That it's time for the 1-800-PET-MEDS Calling All Pets sweepstakes and contest, where one lucky dog and cat will be in our next TV commercial. To enter, go to 1-800-PETMEDS.com and post your pet's photo. And while there, get the same flea, tick, and heartworm medications as your vet, but for up to 50% less. No purchase necessary. Open to legal U.S. and D.C. residents. Void where prohibited. Ends 5/12/15. See official rules for entry and age details at tv.1800petmeds.com.
Let me take just a moment or two, if I may, and talk about a great place to eat. That's right. For you folks anywhere in the eastern San Fernando Valley, drop into Bob's Big Boys. That's right. In Sun Valley at 8274 Sunland Boulevard. Now, everybody remembers the name Bob's. They're getting bigger and bigger every day. And little old Bob carrying the hamburger in his checkered overalls is the same Bob that you remember from back through the years. And, of course, if you want to go in for a great lunch, remember their classic burger, the original double-deck hamburger combination. Delicious 100% pure ground beef in 2 patties with American cheese, lettuce, and our famous Big Boy special sauce. The name is Bob, and I think when you go in, you'll say, by golly, I'm sure glad that I found this restaurant because it's good for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. They've got all kinds of things, and all you have to do is remember. Bob's Big Boy in Sun Valley at 8274 Sunland Boulevard. It's a great place to eat.
Homeowners, now is the season to be thinking about your roof, because all it takes is one storm to turn a small roof problem into a major leak. If it's time for a new roof, call Sears at 888-465-9720. You can save $500 if you call right now. Sears licensed, fully insured contractors can get your roofing job done right. Just call 888-465-9720. Sears has a variety of shingles and styles that are built for long-lasting performance, and you'll save $500 if you call now. So call Sears for a free and home consultation at 888-465-9720. Hurry, offer ends soon. Not available in all areas. Installation provided by Sears authorized licensed contractors. License information available upon request. That's Sears Roofing. Call right now and save $500. Call 888-465-9720. 888-465-9720. Call Sears now and get that roof repaired. Call 888-465-9720.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Everybody's talking at me.
CRN Chuck Wilder with my guest, Coach Dave Dobbenmeyer. Newswithviews.com, newswithviews.tv also, and discussing his article, The Battle is Raging, Where is Our Team? And, you know, you mentioned you got the grandbabies on the way, and that's all you need, motivation. But every single person, Coach, I mean, you know, if you believe in God, then you should be on the team. You know, if you believe that, you know, a man can marry a man can marry a dog, that'll be the next step, or a man can marry the goat, or your sister, or your brother, or whatever, we don't need you on the team, all right? But as you said a moment ago, what if 10,000 Christians would have showed up, you know, in Indiana? That sure would have set a message, wouldn't it?
It wouldn't have taken that many, Chuck. I just use that as an illustration.
Yeah.
Do you suppose there's 10,000 Christians in the state of Indiana?
Yes.
I'd say so. And we compare that to how many homosexuals there are. But here's what's happened to us, Chuck. We think, first of all, that our church is our team. Well, I suppose it is to a point. I suppose it is. But we're one body, many members. We're a collective. We're a Christian collective. But the reality is our pastors don't play well together, Chuck. I've dealt over the last 15 years with them. They do not play well.
Let me tell you something just came to my mind, all right, because if I don't jump in here real quick, I will forget it. Remember when that so-called atheist church or whatever the heck it was protesting the funerals?
Yes, sir.
It wasn't necessarily the Christians that showed up, but it was a lot of veterans and a lot of, especially veterans, that said, you're not going to do it, all right? And they stopped those guys. And if they didn't stop them, at least they moved them out of sight. But what we're up against now, it's right in our face. Yeah, go ahead.
Boots on the ground work, don't they, Chuck?
Yes,
It does work. But as I was saying, our pastors don't even play well together. In fact, I just tell the truth. That's kind of what gets me in trouble all the time. They see each other's competition. Who can have the biggest church and who's got the biggest programs. And so the idea of pastors working together is anathema. They don't really do it, Chuck. They just don't play very well together. So I've undertaken an initiative. I've got the battle scars to prove it in my life. You know, I was arrested 10 years ago last week for trying to take water to Terry Schiavo. Great opportunity for the church at that time, Chuck, to arise and defend that poor handicapped woman, protect life from natural birth to natural death. I was arrested down there. And here we are 10 years later, and nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. If they were to starve Terry Schiavo today, and I went down there and got arrested, there'd be just as many as there were 10 years ago. And so I'm sick and tired of it, Chuck, and I've earned my stripes. My life has been credible. Our behavior's been credible. And I'm putting together a team. Here's what I would like you listeners to do. In fact, I'm spreading this word everywhere that I can. I want them to sign up for God's Army. Now, I say, Coach, what are you doing leading it? Well, Lord, nobody's doing it. I see the problem. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to wait around on the pastors anymore. If they would just go to my website, Chuck, ptsalt.com, right there on my website it says sign up for the team. And here's what we want people to do. Just give us your email so that we can put you on a list so that the next time something big like this happens, or something small, it could be an issue at your local schools. They want to take the 10 Commandments down. They want to persecute some coach for praying with his team. That we could instantaneously send out an email. And that email would go to the 6,000 people, I'm just using a number, who are on our email list to say, hey, man, we got a problem out there in Los Angeles, California. We need the Air Force to start praying. Get people praying for that situation. We need the infantry to begin hitting the phone lines and calling people and sending emails. But then we also need the special ops. We need the guys to be boots on the ground and hit the beach. And if we get together and get organized with a team like that, Chuck, we're not going to lose anymore. We're not going to lose. And so we have to have a system and not an organization, we're an organism, but we have to have a method of communication in this multimedia world in which we live, that at the click of a mouse, we can have boots on the ground, prayer in the air, and be actively combating the forces of darkness. By the way, that's what the other side does. That's why they win. They're organized. They show up. They make phone calls. And we sit back and say, oh, isn't that terrible? Well,
I've always said,
terrible, and I think it's time we began to push back. Western civilization hangs in the balance. I really believe that, Chuck.
I've always said, the other side, boy, they do know how to spread their propaganda.
They do.
And, of course, they've got the mainstream media behind them. They've got Hollywood. That's a very important thing, is whenever you have Hollywood. People, you say, why is it that every TV show has to have a gay person in it now? Why? Well, because of the writers.
That's right.
See? And then that 3% taking over. They don't even want conservatives, It's amazing they've got any conservative actors, but, you got the talent.
When I was a football coach, and we're getting ready to play a game next week, and I sat down and I turned on the game film of our opponents, and I looked at them and I said, oh, my goodness, they're organized, they're well coached, they're really good. I guess I'm not going to go. I guess I'll just sit home and we'll forfeit this week. You can't play like that, can you, Chuck?
No.
You have to find some weaknesses. You have to show up. You have to play.
And you got to have a lot of offense.
You got to have some offense.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you mentioned now if they want to sign up for God's Army, they go to ptsalt.com. That's the best place?
It's right there on the home page. There's a big icon that says sign up for the Army. And I don't know what other term to use, Chuck. I don't know what other term. And I would say to you people that are listening out there, we got to stop griping and moaning and complaining. We have got to move into action. Sitting around complaining does not do any good. I want to be proactive. I want to go on offense. I want to lift up the name of the Lord. I want to defend Christianity, the Christ I serve, and Western civilization. This should be a no-brainer. We're not going to send you requests for money. We're not going to bombard you with emails. We're going to put you on a list. And when we need boots on the ground, prayer in the air, the infantry, we're going to send out an email, say, hey, everybody, point your prayers and your feet and your phone calls here. Yeah. We got a battle we got to fight.
whatever physical thing you can do, do it. And if you can't do it physically, then do it spiritually. Now then,
you'd be surprised, Chuck,
also,
how many people I hear from say, well, what can I offer?
Yeah.
You kidding me? Can you pray?
Now,
can
also,
you dial come on.
Yeah, also, Coach, they can email you, right, at coach@ptsalt.com?
That's right. They can do that directly to me. And, Chuck, I got so many emails right now I can't even tell you. I read and respond to every one of them. And then we
that's
put
why
them
it's
in
always
a
so.
list.
That's why it's always so long.
It's not going to be some secretary someplace. I read every one of those emails. We're putting together a team, Chuck. We're going to have 300 men on the ground when Ken Hovind goes back to jail. We're going to have prayer in the air, 300 men on the team. And then we're going to move that team to Montgomery, Alabama for the Gettysburg of gay marriage when Judge Moore's issue comes up. And then we're going to move it to wherever that battle moves. We're going to have a mobile operation of people who are going to be able to become that offensive offensive machine that we believe the body of Christ needs to be. Remember, Chuck, Jesus said he'd build a church and the gates of hell would not prevail against the church, which gives the appearance that the gates are being attacked by the church. We're not attacking the gates, brother. Come on. Let's get on the offensive here.
And religion has a right, too. You know, that's another good name, religious right. Yeah, you know what was I going to ask you here something. What can I? Okay.
Well, Chuck, can I go to the idea of when I was a football coach, first 1 to 30 wins?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because see, that was my idea as a coach. You listen to the pundits on TV. They're talking about football games, or they say, well, offense wins games, but defense wins championships. Well, there couldn't be anything more false than that, Chuck. A perfect defensive game without any offense will be a tie, 0-0. You can't just play defense, which is what the church has done. We've tried to hang on, playing defense, hoping that God returns and rescues us out of it. Well, what
was your definition of? I'm looking for it here, where in the football team, you said they never wanted to have a tie. 0-0 is what was it, like taking your sister to the dance, or what was that?
Like kissing your sister.
Kissing your sister.
It looks authentic, but it just doesn't feel right, you know?
Yeah, and the other thing was killing their will. Kill the will, boys. That makes a heck of a lot of sense. And I've always wondered, when a football team, because I watch a lot of pro football, and I'm always thinking, very seldom do you really see it turned around at the half. There have been a few games that stand out where all of a sudden, they're losing 40-3, and they come back, and
not very often. So I'd gather our guys at halftime, Chuck. I'd say, okay, man, that other coach over there, he just gave their guys a great pep talk, and they're ready to come out and fight and take this game away from you. We got to go kill the will. You have to kill the will in order to attain victory. And Chuck, this is what's happened. The sodomites, the God-haters, they've killed the will of the Christian man. We have no will to fight anymore. We have to restore that. And if we go out and we begin to attack and break down the defenses of the enemy, I'm not talking about guns and bullets. I'm talking about spiritual weapons, showing up and praying and taking authority and rebuking. If we begin to do that, our entire team is going to be encouraged, and we're going to start getting more and more victories. Chuck, this is so simple. It's not easy, but this is so simple. If people would simply trust me enough just to send me their email, just give me their email, and we'll put them on a team, and then you can decide later if you want to play or not. But if you're not going to play, then stop griping. Just stop griping, because we're going to give you an opportunity to stand up for Jesus and make a difference with your faith.
And what was it you said, the main reason that people have quit going to church? You said, who wants to play on a team that has no intention of winning?
Yeah, that's right. That isn't our intention. Our intention, for the most part, Chuck, is not victory, but evacuation. We're hoping that we're just going to get out of here before all this mess hits. That's what. Why would you want to go to church? Why would you want to go lay your reputation and your life on the line if you are convinced that the Lord's about to come and rescue you out of here? We just saw 159 college Christians slaughtered over in Kenya. Well, the Lord evidently didn't make it back in time to rescue them. What was wrong with them, Chuck? Weren't they reading the right Bible? Weren't they doing the right kind of prayers? What's that all about? And this idea that just because we happen to be American Christians, that we're going to be oblivious to some of this stuff. Hey, brother, it's coming on our shores. They're knocking at our door even as we speak, and if we don't awaken and arise soon, there's going to be a lot of people, there's going to be a lot of calamity in America, Chuck.
Yeah, let the other guy do it. Or
let him do
that's
it.
why we elect these people. They're supposed to be taking care of us. And you just heard the figure I gave you about how many voted, for same-sex marriage. Yeah.
Well, we're big boys, aren't we, Chuck? You're a big boy, I'm a big boy.
Mm-hmm.
Those elected officials, they're not taking care of us.
Coach,
I can
got to
promise
tell
you,
you,
when they get up in the morning, that's not their prayer. Lord, help me take care of the people. That's not what it is, brother. It's sadly, we're all after our own gain. That's what it says in the Scripture. Everybody after his own gain for his own good. Israel's watchmen are blind. So we take Christian principles and we elect elected officials who don't have Christian principles, and we expect them to put into place Christian principles. That's pretty
Well, I'll tell you,
brother.
Coach, not only just on the, talking about same-sex marriage, but see, you can understand why so many people are upset, and they don't have the faith, and they don't have the will. Some of them are right now ready to say, boy, I'll settle for a tie. When you've got the President of the United States that bypasses laws, all right, that is against you. Take the state of California, Proposition 8, no on same-sex marriage. Overwhelmingly, majority passed it. Well, what happened? It didn't work. Your vote didn't count. And people are getting upset about that, Coach.
I think, Chuck, that we are at a real turning point, and here's why I'm encouraged. Thank God, in the last election, everybody overturned the Democratic Congress, and they got those wascally Republicans in there. And now what do we find out about 4 months later, Chuck? They ain't really no different than what we already had in there. And so I think people have come to a realization, this political thing isn't working. And so since that political thing isn't working, then realizing now we're going to have to turn to something else. But, Chuck, they also know this church thing ain't working. The political thing ain't working. My pastor is quiet. He don't mention anything about anything. The world around me is being destroyed. My children, the faith of my children is under attack. And they're beginning to say, man, what is going on? Won't somebody do something? That's why people need to go to ptsalt.com. We're going to do something, Chuck. We're going to do something. We're going to run a play. How about that?
There you go. Sometimes the pastors, the priest, or whatever, decide they're going to get politically correct or make their own personal agenda about some local thing that somebody's going to vote on, And I even hate to hear that in churches. Leave it out of it, Leave it out of it. But you say
unless
here...
it's a moral issue, Chuck. If it's a moral issue, they need to speak They need to speak about marriage. About schools, they shouldn't be talking about whether or not we ought to pay for schools. That's to me, that's none of their business.
Right.
But if it's a moral issue, talking about marriage between a man and a man, I think about abortion, about a baby getting his head chopped off, I think that kind of stuff's pretty important, and we need to talk about that kind of stuff in the pulpit.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, Chuck, they think it's okay. If they're not hearing it from their religious leader, they just assume it's okay. It's like your children.
Okay,
children
Coach.
Get in trouble. You say, what were you doing? And kid answers, well, you never said I couldn't. Well,
all right, we're going to take our final break here, and then we'll come back, wrap things up. Coach Dave Dobbenmeyer, founder, president of Pass the Salt Ministries, and looking at some of his articles, the first 1 to 30 wins. Very good, yes. And then the battle is raging, and where is our team? Question mark, question mark, question mark. We'll be right back.
For over 20 years, you've trusted Lumber Liquidators to make high-quality, beautiful flooring affordable for everyone. Delivering this value means you get the floor you want at the low price you deserve. So we've lowered prices even more. This week at beautifully distressed click strand bamboo. It's easy to install, and now it's $229. That's about half what you'll pay at other stores. Plus 200 styles of pre-finished hardwood from $169 and 12-month special financing. You trust our value. We value your trust. For quality hardwood, see the flooring experts today. Visit lumberliquidators.com to find a store near you.
CRN travelers, relax at the beautiful Fountain Grove Inn and Conference Center in Santa Rosa, California. Come to quality and come to luxury. Experience the newly renovated guest rooms. They're generously sized and they're decorated in the Tuscan tradition. They have great, incredible pillow-top mattresses, luxurious linens, and down-filled comforters. The Fountain Grove Inn also offers complimentary Wi-Fi and internet access. There's warm cookies and coffee every evening in the hotel lobby, and you can visit the newly remodeled Equus Restaurant and Equus Lounge with its new wine bar. It's the ideal place to relax and enjoy a glass of wine and watch our What's Cooking on Wine show on CRN with host Larry Van Alst on Wednesdays. It's the Fountain Grove Inn, Hotel, and Conference Center located in the heart of Sonoma wine country. It's easily located in Santa Rosa off the 101 Fountain Grove Parkway exit. Call 707-578-6101. That's 707-578-6101 or visit fountaingrovinn.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-351-8614. That's 800-351-8614. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-351-8614.
Hi, this is Bill Martinez. Join us every Monday through Friday from 9 to noon Eastern when we're covering the issues that matter most to you. From Obamacare, the latest from Russia, the Middle East, Israel, immigration, and more. We're talking with the policy and political experts so you can be better informed. It's Bill Martinez Live, brought to you in part by my friends at Good News Tax Relief. Let them help you get your peace of mind back by dealing with the IRS for you. Proven experience. Proven results. Call 800-255-7500.
Everybody's talking at me.
My guest, Coach Dave Dobbenmeyer, and talking about his articles, newswithviews.com, and his Army. And go there, sign up for the news releases, the email alerts, and it's PT Salt, S-A-L-T, PT Salt. .com, as in Pass the Salt Ministries. I'm thinking about this, and this is from the coach's writings, but I was thinking about, that one for the Gipper, and I was going to take just parts of 3 of your paragraphs, pardon me, because I could just almost see this, from the football movie. I'm sick of sissified, passive Christianity. I'm sick of the mommy boys currently populating our pulpits with a just be nice strategy. We will never win if our only goal is not to appear mean as they rape our cheerleaders and molest our water boys. We need a change in strategy. Playing not to lose ain't working. Let's go on the offensive. Let's throw a few deep passes. Let's pound the God haters by running off tackle. Let's use some razzle-dazzle and see if they can handle it. Let's pull out all the stops. Let's run the no-huddle offense and wear them down. Let's act like we're champions, led by the greatest coach in the world. And the first one to 30 wins.
There, isn't it, Chuck?
It is, yeah. You ought to start right. Oh, you do, yes.
So I realized that that's what the Holy Spirit gave me. So, Chuck, when I write that kind of stuff, it makes people mad, and the idea of a manly man. Take John Wayne. Take Clint Eastwood. The idea of a guy like that in the pulpit is almost anathema. It's hard for us to understand that a guy like that, are you kidding me? That you can be a man, a real man, and love Jesus? I think you can. That's why I wrote in that commentary today, Chuck. What would it be like if there was a bunch of barrel-chested Christian men that showed up at the local school board meeting? Brother, that God made us men for a purpose, to contend, to protect women, to protect children, to protect and defend the cause of Christ. Christianity is a manly game.
And is that one, Coach, is that one available, newswithviews.com?
Which one's that, Chuck?
The one you're talking about right now, the commentary you just wrote today?
Yeah, it's in there today. It's in one of the paragraphs today. That what happens if some barrel-chested men just get that picture? Can't you see? How about some big old barrel-chested Christian men with tattoos on their arms? Show up.
Chop down them trees.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Come on, man. This idea that we're going to win by just being nice, brother. Again, it comes back to the fact that a lot of guys are worried about ruining that Christian brand. They're so worried that somebody might think Christians are mean and hateful.
We outnumber them, take advantage of it.
When it comes to defending my wife and my kids, I can get pretty mean and hateful.
Yeah,
I don't apologize.
Stay that way. And now we know why the dog's holding you down.
Yeah. By the way, the weather blew through, and she jumped off my lap, so I'm up and moving around again.
Fantastic. Hey, we'll do it again, Coach. Thank you very much. And listen, join the Army.
Enjoy the opportunity to be on with you.
Get involved. Join the Army. Go to ptsalt.com. ptsalt.com. Sign up for the email alerts. See what you can do. And read these articles at newswithviews.com. Tomorrow, Doug Kellogg talking about the study. Wow, $233.8 billion lost in the rising tax complexity. Seton Motley's going to talk about one of Obama's objectives. Are you ready for this? Nationalize California's government-made water disaster. And Jim Corey, board member, National Association Chiefs of Police, he'll be here with his latest. Hey, thank you very much, Paul Stern. And please remember, absolutely no animals were injured during the production of this here program.
Enjoying all your favorite CRN programming is easier than ever. It's right on your TV, through your local cable provider, and on the web at crntalk.com. But when you're on the move, stuck in a plane, train, or in your car, catch up on all the shows you missed. Or